The Christian faith is an eternal faith, a gift from God. God's promise is for an abundant and everlasting life. It is a faith that operates in an unseen realm, a heavenly realm. But Christianity is born of the earth. It celebrates the glory and beauty of God's creation. Indeed, creation itself celebrates the wonders and power of God Almighty.
Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. Let the field be joyful, and all that is therein. Then shall all the trees of the wood rejoice.
The natural settings, artwork, and architectural details found in our churches declare the glory of God's creation. Some, like North United Methodist Church, are placed in a park-like setting to remind us that it is God's world in which we live, an expression of our own devotion, love, and gratitude to our Creator. Others, like Frieden's United Church of Christ on the far south side of Indianapolis, practically invite creation inside, uniting the congregation with the outdoors.
The openness of this sanctuary really lends itself to connection with creation. We are fortunate to sit on a really lovely piece of property. Also, it was very intentional that the walls of this sanctuary are glass, reminding those who come to worship here that the gospel is for the world. And so our emphasis needs to be beyond the walls of the church, so that what we learn and are inspired by here in worship goes with us as we seek to be faithful disciples of Jesus in our daily lives.
In other churches, artisans have created reminders of God's bounty. These are not only pleasing to the eye, but many of these details have deeper symbolic meaning. These symbols derived from nature go to the very core of the Christian faith.
God created the world, as Genesis points out, and pronounced it not just good, but very good, tov mahov in the Hebrew. So in a world where we're pulled in all kinds of directions for our worth, and when our worth is as individuals is so often questioned, we come into a place where we say that God created a world which is tov mahov, very good, and we experience the richness of God's blessing, which we can see in others, and we can see the presence of Christ in others. And then it enables us to go back into a monetary-oriented world and see it through whole new eyes and live our lives with an energy that we otherwise wouldn't have.
It is important for us to understand the importance of beauty, and that the beauty of these spaces reflect the beauty of God.
Yes, we should be concerned about beauty. We should be able to develop an appreciation for the gifts that God has given us. If we go back to the story of creation, God didn't create ugly things. God created beautiful things. He started with the world. He started with nature. He started with animals. He started with humankind. And in all those things, God's comment was, and it was good.
Now faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see.
While it is true that we must have faith for what we do not see, God does provide physical, tangible aids along our faith journey. God sent His own Son, Jesus Christ, God made flesh, to be the ultimate physical expression of an inexpressible God. Jesus Himself used many material signs in His earthly ministry. His baptism in water, His first miracle changing water into wine, feeding the multitudes with bread and fish, healing people with His touch, and sacrificing His body on a cross of wood. So it is only natural that our sacred spaces, built of brick and mortar, wood, stone, steel, and glass, made by human hands, attempt to express the infinite beauty of God, the beauty which is God's gift to us.
God put a world together filled with creative thinking, beautiful flowers, wonderful natural events, and art, and stained glass, and weavings, and tapestries, banners, all of those things have an opportunity to remind us of that connection with beauty. It's terribly important, and to forget that and to deprive us of that, I think, is just, it is one less way that we can celebrate.
It is our responsibility to be able to appreciate, to be able to interpret, to be able to look at a beautiful work of art and develop a meaning of some kind for our own lives through that art. Have we lost that ability? I think somewhat, because we've been bombarded with all kinds of technological input from television, from computers, from iPods. So sometimes it's difficult to stop and smell the roses. And I think as God's people, we need to be able to slow down sometimes and really appreciate the gifts that God has surrounded us with.